how are you doing? Today is a very special day because we can reveal the new RS3 competition limited version, which I have to say is a bit of a surprise because we haven't thought that Audi would be doing another special version of the RS3. And actually, I thought, since hearing the name competition, this would be only, let's say, the changes that we formerly knew from the RS4 competition, RS6 competition, or RS6 performance in that case. But for this car, they have actually changed a lot of things, besides, of course, putting that into that wonderful heritage color that we also knew from the original Audi Quattro model that was released in that color back then. You can already see it on the front that we have a totally revised front face. Because we have additional, let's say, flaps at the side here. Everything is in carbon fiber matte. And we also, for the first time on an RS3, have, let's say, a body kit, you could almost say, a front splitter that is, let's say, making the car look meaner, look lower to the ground. Of course, also in conjunction with the coil-over suspension that we will talk about in just a second. And therefore, I would say a bit of a surprise that I have changed, let's say, so many things. Specifically, once you look at the car, let's say from the front here, it looks very mean and lower to the ground, and also the heritage parts are quite nice. Before we get to the details, I mean, first of all, look at this color here. That looks so good. Small details, RS3 Sportback here, and then we have competition limited badge here as well. And if we get into the car, should open actually, it's not working because I got the key here in my pocket. You can already see at a glimpse that we have neodyme Alcantara leather seats inside, as well as the competition limited logo. For me personally, that makes the interior look totally different. I mean, that's not something that you get at a regular tuner. If you get into the car and see those seats, that's really nice. And of course, also the door inserts and the stitching, everything is matching to the overall scheme. Right there, where my camera is sitting. Of course, there's also the sedan available. I have to say it's probably not as shouty in Daytona gray. This is actually the second color, and I think something like Glacier White Matte is the third color that is available. But definitely you can get the sedan and the Sportback, and you could maybe even say that the sedan and that color would be one of the nicest things that you can do. Yeah, at the side profile, you've already seen it. We have the bespoke rims here that are in neodyme. So in the studio, it looks just a bit of silver, but in real life, it looks probably in the sun very goldish, and that's probably very similar also to what we have on our M2 with the dark red and also the bronze wheels that we got on the M2. So it's a similar color scheme, and I really like it. Rear. First of all, still looks mean with that diffuser, but we also have an additional part in the rear spoiler. First of all, the rear spoiler is matte. I think you could only get that in glossy, the recent models. And this part now adds downforce and makes the car maybe even more special from the rear. So if you get an RS3 driving by with that center part, you know it is one of those competition limited cars. Also, as said, if you see that car in your rearview mirror, you will immediately see how mean the car looks from the front. That's definitely a change to the regular one, and that's also a change to the let's say performance version that they had for the pre-facelift, the blue one that we also drove a few years ago. So I would say, from a product positioning perspective, this is a bit more than a regular competition model, and it's probably not as, let's say, shouty as the RS6 GT, but it's very, very close. So let's talk about performance figures. First of all, you could argue this still has the 400 horsepower, but we know that the engine never was the issue. And if you want to change the engine, of course, there are so many tuners on the market which are getting lots of horsepower out of that engine. So yeah, to be honest, if that engine would now have 450 HP or 430 HP just as a marketing gag, would that really make a difference? Likely not. but it still has that great sound, and therefore that's okay. This car, of course, always comes standard with the ceramic brakes that we have there, always 290. But the most important part, besides, let's say, the exterior design and the interior design, is that for the first time we got now a coil-over suspension for the RS3. You can maybe already see that the car looks a bit lower, and that's the reason, because we can go up to minus 10 millimeters of ride height compared to the regular RS3, which is not a regular car in the end. And you can, of course, probably also see the coil over elements. Here you see the red springs there. So yeah, compression rate, etc., everything can be changed. And as said, also the ride height with the same toolkit that you also get, that we formerly knew from the RS4 competition, for example. And that, yeah, that the suspensions of the RS4 competition was always a great suspension. Also the 25 years special version was really, really nice. And therefore, I think that could really add something to the character that the RS3 never had. Second part, supplier of that suspension is, let's say, in the basic parts KW, but of course there are specific parts and tuning elements and also things that you cannot order at KW if you want to go for an aftermarket suspension. So it's a more or less cooperation with Audi, and therefore, yeah, making this car on one hand, of course, handling really, really good, on the other hand, keeping its OEM capabilities. And you also know that our RS3 8V that we had, the old one, also had the KW, I think it was a V3 Plus suspension, and we were very, very happy with that, because the combination of handling capabilities that the car got in conjunction still with the everyday usability was really, really nice. So before we get to the sedan, which I have to say in this angle, Daytona Grey now looks good. Let's get into the car and give you some more details about the interior things, because we have something that has also changed. I mean, this green now and the beige, you could say, but it's in the end, it's neodymium elements, is really nice. First of all, steering wheel with a dedicated stitching. As said, the competition limited badge is also in the seats here. We of course have the competition limited in the floor mats. We have competition limited right here. That always is a cool thing and really shows off at night. And if we get into the car for the first time, we can now also see that once we turn the car, we have the white speedometer. So the white speedometer, was formerly only available for the performance versions of the RS6, for example. I think also the RS3 had one of those things. And the infotainment is not firing up because I have fired up the car too many times, I guess. Battery is down now since I did 6 or 7 starts here. But that's something really cool. And if I would now be able to go to the infotainment, you could also see that we have the 2, let's say, round dials available for the RS3, also in white. Maybe something that I will also put in here if I get the guys here and we get everything fired up. I think the rest is, let's say, RS3 fully spec'd. You cannot change anything, more or less. You always get a fully spec'd car, and that always also brings me to the price of those cars, because there probably will be a lot of debate. Oh, it only has 400 horsepower. Oh, nice angle also with the rear spoiler here. It only has 400 horsepower, but it costs, let's say, list price, including tax in Germany, 100,000 euros. Let's say one story. First of all, this is a fully spec'd car, so all the options that you could potentially pick are available. Secondly, it's limited to 750 units, and there will only be, I think, 170 sedans in there, and the rest will be sportbacks. It will be available in multiple markets, so not only in Germany. So the number is quite a harsh limitation. And if you now go onto the price tag of our BMW M2, and you can consider this as being more or less something like a BMW with M performance parts, for example, we also paid around, or the list price, the including tax in Germany for our M2 was also around 108,000 euros, including the M performance parts, including the wheels. And in this case, you actually don't even have You don't even have in our M2 a dedicated suspension yet. So that's only wheels and carbon fiber parts, where this concept, of course, has the bucket seats in there. You have the coilover suspension. You have the dedicated, let's say, exclusive interior that you can also see in this car, of course. And therefore, I would even say the price tag is okay. I know this is not an M2, so it's maybe, let's say, half a class lower from a power perspective, 400 horsepower versus almost 500 horsepower. But nevertheless, I would say the price tag is quite okay. And also the important part is that, of course, everything, once you go for a financing car like this, everything will be also already available in one package coming from the factory. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. Something I realized. We have an RS badge back. That's, of course, very, very nice. First of all, RS badge back. And the RS badge has the heritage design. So that's, let's say, coming closer to something like the GT logos that we had in the past, and really sets it apart from the regular cars. Yeah, so with that, I would say that's it for a quick walk around and some short ref shots and some detailed shots. I'm really looking forward to your comments, what you think about this car, what you would spec it in if you are the guy, let's say, understatement with the Daytona Gray, or if you want to go for something like the green version here. That would probably be my spec, honestly. And yeah, talk to you on the video, and really looking forward to your assumptions and thoughts about the car.